Today, we are honored to have the Right Honourable Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Zohari bin Datuk Abang Haji Openg, Premier of Sarawak, to deliver a lecture on Sarawak's vision and strategic initiatives for a low-carbon future, followed by a Q&A session moderated by Mr. Choi Shing Kwok, Director and Chief Executive Officer of ISEAS Yusof Ishak Institute. Before we begin, please allow me to draw your attention to a few housekeeping matters. Firstly, the Q&A session will take place after the lecture. For the online audience, please submit your questions via the Zoom Q&A function, stating your name and affiliation. If you encounter any technical issues, please use the chat function to reach out to our technical support team. Secondly, for our in-person audience, please raise your hand and wait for the moderator to prompt you before using the microphone in the center of the room to pose your question together with your name and affiliation. Thirdly, please note that this public lecture and the Q&A session will be open and on the record. Thank you for your cooperation. Without further ado, I now have the pleasure of inviting the Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak and Mr. Choi Shing Kwok, Director and Chief Executive Officer of ISEAS Yusof Ishak Institute, to the stage, please.
Excellency, the Right Honourable Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Zohari bin Tun Datuk Abdul Haji Openg, Premier of Sarawak. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to everyone. I'm delighted to welcome all of you to the ISEAS Yusof Ishak Institute for today's public lecture, which has already been described by our MC, is on the very important topic of envisioning a low-carbon future, Sarawak's journey towards sustainable development. We are very honored to have the Right Honourable Tan Sri Dr. Abang Zohari, Premier of Sarawak, to deliver this lecture today. Allow me to first appreciate my appreciation to His Excellency for taking time from his busy schedule to speak at this event. So thank you very much, Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, on the international stage, climate solidarity is faltering. The climate finance goal of $300 billion US dollars by 2035 agreed upon in COP29 last year has drawn widespread disappointment from developing countries, while developed countries feel besieged by their own financial and political problems. Especially in Europe, where a war still rages and economic problems are looming. While the COP29 agreement falls short of what is needed, the scale and urgency of the climate challenges we face do not give us any scope to pause our efforts to work towards a more sustainable future. There is a growing sense that all who care about climate will have to find new and innovative pathways of cooperation to work towards a just and equitable climate transition. In this time of uncertainty at the national and international levels, we must not forget the potential of subnational climate action. Not only do subnational actors hold significant economic resources in their own right, they are often also nimbler and have a stronger knowledge of local circumstances that can facilitate the piloting of new and innovative solutions. Across the world, many states, cities, and provinces are stepping up to the challenge and taking ownership of their climate transition journey. In the US in particular, more than half of the states have set their own net zero targets. In Australia, Victoria's target of achieving net zero emissions by 2045 goes beyond and above their national ambition. Here in Southeast Asia, Sarawak serves as an example of subnational climate leadership. With its vast natural resources and high commitment to sustainability, Sarawak is charting a bold path towards a low-carbon future. When faced with the COVID-19 pandemic, it took the opportunity to reimagine its economic future, unveiling an ambitious post-COVID development strategy 2030 that prioritizes green growth, social equity, and environmental sustainability. The strategy emphasizes equitable access to education, healthcare, and digital connectivity, while also prioritizing clean energy, sustainable land use, and reforestation efforts. This positions Sarawak as a leader in sustainable development within Southeast Asia and sets an example for others to follow. In particular, Sarawak's renewable energy potential is a very big asset. It aims to become a regional renewable energy powerhouse, particularly through its hydropower initiatives. These initiatives not only meet the energy needs of Sarawak itself, but also play a crucial role in supporting the broader regional transition to clean energy. Sarawak aims to quadruple its renewable energy generation capacity to 15 gigawatts by 2035, further underscoring its leadership in Southeast Asia's renewable energy sector. In addition, Sarawak and Singapore are collaborating on a groundbreaking subsea cable project to supply 1 gigawatt of renewable energy from Sarawak to Singapore, with commercial operations expected to commence in 2031. Sarawak has also been making strides in its plans for a hydrogen economy and in exploring opportunities in the areas of carbon capture, utilization and storage, or CCUS, biomass, sustainable fuel, as well as in carbon trading. Its leadership is also evident in its environmental policies. Sarawak's commitment to environmental stewardship is demonstrated by its policies on reforestation and sustainable agriculture. Overall, these efforts aim to strike a balance between economic development and environmental conservation, reflecting Sarawak's approach to sustainable development that is an example to everyone. Today, we have a unique opportunity to hear about Sarawak's journey towards sustainable development during these times of global uncertainty. How has Sarawak approached the significant challenge of the climate crisis, balancing the need for a rapid transition to lessen the burden of climate impact and the imperative of delivering economic growth for its people? What challenges has Sarawak faced, and how does Sarawak plan to overcome them? There's no better person to answer these questions than the Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak himself. Let me now briefly introduce him. Tan Sri Abang Zohari comes from a very distinguished Sarawakian family that has served in top leadership positions in Sarawak for many generations. He himself has been a full state minister since 1987, serving in a variety of portfolios including industrial development, tourism, and housing. He became the Chief Minister of Sarawak in 2017. The position was then changed in its name to the Premier of Sarawak in 2022 with a constitutional change. Concurrently with leading the government of Sarawak, Abang Zohari also holds triple portfolios for finance and new economy, natural resources and urban development, as well as energy and environmental sustainability. He is a well-known proponent of sustainable development and climate action through green economic growth. So Distinguished guests, I now have the pleasure of inviting the Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak to deliver his lecture. Your Excellency, please.
Very good morning, Mr. Choi, the CEO of Yusof Ishak Institute, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Just days ago, scientists reported that January 2025 was the hottest on record, with global temperatures approaching 1.75 degrees centigrade, above pre-industrial levels, bringing us closer to the 1.5 degrees centigrade Celsius Paris Agreement threshold faster than expected. Against that background, I would like to express my appreciation to ISEAS for inviting me to share with you the issues of climate change and what action we have to take in order to mitigate the issues facing the world. At this rate, extreme weather, rising sea levels, and ecosystem disruptions are becoming more evident, with Southeast Asia among the most vulnerable. This highlights the urgency for decisive action. Therefore, it is important to take a step back and reflect on the bigger picture, the rapidly changing world around us, and the challenges we face. Climate change is no longer a distant threat. It is unfolding before our eyes, disrupting economies, straining ecosystems, and reshaping the way we live and work. Sarawak is fully aware of these challenges, which is why today I'm here to share our transformative journey, one that has rapidly evolved from ambition to tangible action, driving bold initiative for a low carbon, climate resilient, and inclusive future. To understand our approach, we must first recognize what makes Sarawak unique. Home to 27 ethnic groups, including the Iban, Chinese, Malay, Bidayuh, and Orang Ulu, our diversity fosters harmony and embodies unity. Known for its natural beauty, Sarawak balances cultural heritage with sustainable development, blending tradition and innovation to lead in climate action and sustainability. With this foundation, Sarawak is driving a transformation that integrates economic progress with environmental responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now take you through our strategies shaping this journey. Sarawak's sustainability journey is driven by clear vision, strategic planning, and a commitment to preserving our natural heritage. As a resource-rich, diverse state, we continue to balance economic growth with environmental responsibility. Now I share with you our policy based on PCDS, that is Post-COVID Development Strategy 2030, particularly in terms of policy reforms and economic transformation. Launched in 2021 in response to global challenges and the impact of COVID-19, the Post-COVID-19 Development Strategy, or PCDS 2030, serve as a roadmap for Sarawak to achieve prosperity, inclusivity, and environmental sustainability by 2030. Built on economic prosperity, social inclusivity, and environmental sustainability, PCDS 2030 drives economic growth, fosters a data-driven society, and ensures long-term sustainability. Through digital transformation, renewable energy, and low-carbon solution, Sarawak is shaping a future for progress and opportunity. At the midpoint of PCDS 2030, we are already seeing results, reflecting Sarawak's ability to turn strategy into action. One of our most significant milestones is surpassing the World Bank's high-income threshold ahead of schedule, reinforcing Sarawak's position as an economic hub for trade and investment. At the same time, Sarawak has introduced bold policy reforms to ensure that sustainability remains central to development. Sarawak has reinforced environmental governance through key policies, that is the Land Carbon Storage Rules 2022 for CCUS, the Greenhouse Gas Emission Ordinance 2023, mandating GHG reporting and supporting carbon markets, and the Natural Resources and Environmental Bill 2024, this is another law to enhance resource governance. While policy reforms set the direction, their true impact lies in implementation. Sarawak is now putting these policies into action, accelerating industrial decarbonization and advancing green innovation for a sustainable future. Renewable energy and decarbonization, with PCDS 2030 as our foundation, Sarawak is scaling up clean energy and decarbonization efforts to enhance energy security, economic resilience, and regional leadership. Hydropower has been the backbone of Sarawak's energy mix since 1985, starting with Batang Air, followed by Bakun Dam and Murun Dam. The upcoming Baleh Dam, this is another one, will further expand power capacity, ensuring stable, low-emission energy for decades. As energy demands rise, we are strengthening grid reliability through hybrid solutions that optimize power generation. Last year, Sarawak took a significant step toward hybrid renewables with the installation of a 50 megawatt solar hydro system at Batang Air Dam, the first of its kind in our energy mix. Expansion is underway with additional capacity being developed to strengthen multi-source clean energy solutions. Other hybrid projects, including solar wind system, are progressing, further diversifying our renewable portfolio. We have taken another significant step forward with the launching of a 500 megawatt hydro-ready combined cycle gas turbine, CCGT, scheduled for completion in 2027. This facility will bolster power supply in northern Sarawak and potentially serve Sabah and Brunei, operating on a methane hydrogen mix to enhance efficiency and reduce emissions. Our goal is to boost electricity capacity to 10 gigawatt by 2030 and 15 gigawatt by 2035, strengthening Sarawak as a green energy powerhouse in ASEAN. This expansion supports industries, advances green technologies, and enables regional electricity exports. However, we are not stopping here. Sarawak aims to be the battery of ASEAN by supplying clean energy, enhancing cross-border interconnectivity. Through the ASEAN Power Grid initiative, we are strengthening regional energy security with exploring storage solutions to optimize supply and distribution. With ISEAS' growing demand for clean fuel, Sarawak is scaling up commercial green hydrogen production, leveraging Sarawak's abundant hydropower. Partnership with Japan, South Korea, and China are expanding Sarawak's hydrogen supply chain, positioning us perhaps as a leader in the Asia-Pacific green hydrogen economy. However, green hydrogen alone cannot eliminate emission across all industries. Sarawak is therefore integrating carbon capture, utilization and storage, CCUS, to decarbonize hard-to-abate sectors while unlocking new low-carbon economic opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to touch on the expanding low-carbon fuels and green industry. Malaysia and Japan are strengthening bilateral cooperation in the development and trade of ammonia, recognizing ammonia's role as a low-carbon energy carrier and a key solution for decarbonization. This collaboration aligns with both countries' clean energy transition strategies, with Sarawak positioned as a key supplier of low-carbon ammonia to Japan. Building on this, we are collaborating with Japan to convert methane into ammonia using syngas technology, maximizing resource efficiency while reducing emissions. These innovations are crucial in cutting carbon emissions and reinforcing Sarawak's role in industrial decarbonization. Sarawak is also scaling up low-carbon fuel production to further support industrial and energy transition efforts. We are expanding our low-carbon fuel initiative. In July 2024, the Sarawak Methanol Complex was launched to drive industrial growth and support the transition to greener fuel alternatives. Last month marked a key milestone in our green energy transition with the sail away of Sarawak's Petchem first methanol export to China and the groundbreaking of the green methanol plant. This new facility will enhance our capacity for sustainable fuel production, driving industrial growth and supporting the broader energy transition. Once operational, the plant will enhance low-carbon methanol production, supporting the chemical industry, power generation, transportation, and green bunkering as a sustainable fuel for the shipping industry. These initiatives are key to Sarawak's broader decarbonization strategy, integrating renewable energy and carbon capture technologies to lower emissions across industries. As part of our low-carbon transition, we are optimizing natural gas resources for a structured shift to cleaner energy. Launched last November, the Sarawak Gas Roadmap outlines strategies to maximize natural gas utilization while integrating renewables and carbon capture, utilization, and storage to strengthen energy security and sustainability. At the same time, biomass plays a key role in Sarawak's energy transition, where agricultural waste is being converted into biofuels, biogas, and syngas to support industrial decarbonization. Expanding on this commitment to clean energy, research into microalgae-based sustainable aviation fuel, SAF, is progressing, offering new opportunities to reduce emissions in the aviation sector. These are not standalone efforts. They are deeply aligned with PCDS 2030, ensuring that economic growth, energy security, and sustainability progress together. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to share with you beyond energy, smart cities, and environmental conservation. Sarawak's journey for sustainable growth extends to urban development and digital transformation, creating efficient, connected, and green cities. The Kuching Urban Transportation System, KUTS, Southeast Asia's first hydrogen-powered autonomous rapid transit LRT, uses AI to optimize routes, monitor operations, and enhance maintenance for cleaner, more efficient mobility. Our Sarawak's Digital Economy Blueprint 2030 promotes AI, IoT, and big data to improve energy use, waste management, and urban planning, strengthening economic growth and connectivity. As we modernize our cities, we must also safeguard our natural environment to ensure long-term sustainability. Our forests play a vital role in carbon sequestration, with 62% of Sarawak's land under forest cover. Expanding this capacity remains a priority alongside strict conservation policies and the elimination of unsustainable logging. Under the Greening Malaysia's campaign, Sarawak set a 35 million tree target, and we have achieved it ahead of schedule in June 2024, reinforcing our commitment to reforestation and biodiversity protection. Complementing large-scale reforestation, we are enhancing climate resilience through nature-based solutions like mangrove restoration, peatland conservation, and ecosystem rehabilitation. These efforts strengthen carbon sequestration while ensuring urban growth aligns with environmental protection. By integrating smart urban planning with conservation, Sarawak ensures development supports rather than harms its natural heritage. Global collaboration and strategic partnership are also important, and therefore global partnership drives Sarawak sustainability, accelerating clean energy innovation, technology transfer and investment. Collaborating with governments and industries, we are expanding hydrogen, renewable energy, and carbon markets, while strengthening regional energy security and regional energy. Beyond collaboration with Japan, South Korea, China, and the UAE, we continue engaging global stakeholders to grow low-carbon industries, develop sustainable infrastructure, and drive innovation in clean energy solutions. To further our climate action, we are establishing the Sarawak Climate Change Center as a regional hub for research, policy development, and collaboration. It will focus on adaptation, mitigation, carbon management, disaster risk assessment, and renewable energy, while serving as a platform for climate modeling, capacity building, and global knowledge exchange. Governance and accountability are essential to sustaining this effort. Sarawak has announced plans to introduce public sustainability reporting to enhance corporate responsibility and aligned with global ESG standards. Once fully implemented, this framework will strengthen investor confidence, promote responsible business practices, and solidify Sarawak's role as a leader in sustainability, governance, contributing to ASEAN's green economy, and long-term resilience. Now we have to look ahead for opportunities in investment and collaboration. Sarawak welcomes partnerships and investment in clean energy, digital technology, and sustainable industries, reinforcing our role as a green innovation hub. As we move towards 2030, we are fostering sustainability through innovation, investment, and strategic incentive in renewable energy, hydrogen, biotechnology, carbon capture, and of course, eco-tourism. Launched last October, the Sarawak Sustainability Blueprint accelerates investment and technological innovation, strengthening leadership in green hydrogen, carbon capture, and smart cities. It also drives technology collaboration in AI-driven resource management, blockchain-enabled carbon markets, and smart urban solutions to enhance efficiency and sustainability. Skilled workforce powers this vision. We need skilled people. Through scholarship, training, and university partnership, we are preparing talent for clean energy and digital transformation, strengthening regional cooperation in green industry, energy security, and climate solution. And Sarawak is shaping a sustainable, competitive economy. Ladies and gentlemen, Sarawak demonstrates that economic growth and environmental responsibility can progress together. Our journey reflects how strong policies, community engagement, and global collaboration drive sustainability. I hope this sharing encourages further action. Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue, I think, celebrating our lunar year, Xin Yan Kaula, may be the year ahead bring prosperity, progress, and meaningful partnership for a greener future that include Yusof Ishak Institute in Sarawak. With that, thank you very much, and I look forward to collaboration that advance Sarawak, Singapore, and regional sustainability. Thank you very much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will not attempt to summarize any of the expensive program that His Excellency has already laid out for us on what Sarawak has planned. Suffice it to say that I think there's a huge part that is about energy, of which I think everything that is possible in terms of low carbon energy, there are aspects already being commenced in Sarawak. Of course, hydropower, but on top of that, many other aspects, solar and even hydrogen and so on. But also, I think there's a large part about how Sarawak is also progressing on the other aspects, which includes development, sustainable development, as well as in the area of ensuring that it's also digitalization. So now we come to the Q&A segment. We have about only 17 minutes. I'm going to be very precise, especially for our online audience. And I will start by actually taking the prerogative to ask one question myself first. Then I'm going to give the floor to people in the room. So if you want to ask a question in the room, please get ready. After the first question, it will be thrown over to you. And you want to make any question, please do make your way to the center aisle where there is a microphone, and go to the microphone to speak there, because we need you to be heard so that the online audience can hear you as well. So please go to the microphone. And for the online audience, I think you're familiar type it into the Q&A box, not the chat box. So, Excellency, I may start by asking you a kind of a more, if you like, another dimension of supporting the programs, ambitious programs that you have for Sarawak, and that pertains to the human side of things, human development, education. I think that there is a large part in which your program requires development of human resources to support that. And so how would you, what is your government going to do in the area of developing the human resources already in Sarawak, as well as to, kind of stop the brain drain that does flow into Peninsula and also into Singapore, as well as other parts of the world, and perhaps also to reverse the brain drain, to bring people who have gained experiences outside, whether it's the rest of the world, or Peninsula or Singapore, go back to Sarawak to contribute to these ambitious plans, because they really do need many people who have experience in this area. So please.
Thank you very much for that question. We have this plan in place. Of course, we need the people to move it forward. And from our perspective, education is important. And we have to give emphasis on Tibet subject in order for us to adapt the technology know-how and to add value the process of decarbonization and also industrialization within the perimeter of environmental sustainability. Against that background, of course, we have the national education policy, but we are fortunate that in the Malaysian agreement, we have also can design our own approach in education. So what we are doing now is, as you know, we still maintain English as our official language beside Bahasa Malaysia. And the other input, we find that the Chinese schools, they are very good in mathematics. So the Sarawak government recognized UEC, but the Malaysian government does not recognize UEC at this point. In other words, what we do is we absorb the UEC graduates into our system, and then we have set up 5 universities owned by Sarawak. These universities are together with 2 universities from Australia, and ASET is owned by Sarawak, but we got their program. And then we have 3 our own universities, meaning these universities are private, owned by Sarawak government, not under the federal government. Against these universities, 2026, we are going to give free tertiary education to all Sarawakian, as long as their identity card is K. So in other words, we are going to give them free up to the what we call undergrad level. Of course, if they pursue to masters and postgrad, then we have to give them scholarship. But for the undergrad, we are giving them free, irrespective of their social background. In other words, we are opening up our opportunities to our young to further up their educational pursuit. And with that, we hope they will select the right discipline in their studies in order to fill the workforce that we need in this transition program. I hope I give some input there.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Yes, question. The gentleman over there. Is there anybody else in the room? So maybe after the gentleman, we'll have the lady over at the back, and then the lady here in front. And we'll have you all ask your questions first, so that then after that you can give a composite answer. Yes, yes, please.
Good morning, Premier. Excellent talks. My name is Victor from OneSmart. I have 3 questions for Premier. The first one is, of course, the collaboration between Sarawak and Singapore. So in your mind, do you have any plan, initiative between Sarawak and Singapore for advancing the green energy efforts? Second questions, I just heard Premier mention that you have this Sarawak Climate Change Center. It's very good. So I just want to know more a little bit on these centers will facilitate and contribute to the regionals and global climate change research. You know, what you have any plan or idea on this part here? And then the third question is on the international collaborations between the Sarawak and the international. You have anything in mind for the renewables and green energies capability? Finally, I would like to invite premiers to visit our Singapore's ABC project, ABC Waters, which is active, beautiful, clean waters. Just now so the Premier has shown a lot of sustainable cities idea. So welcome to visit our Bidadari Parks or Bishana Mokyo Parks. Okay, thank you very much. OneSmart is my company. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. My name is Alisa. I'm from the ISEAS Yusof Ishak Institute. I cover climate change and food security. I'm so glad to hear such good news on the climate change front after so much bad news globally about climate change. My interest I'm also Malaysian. My interest is also on your water security efforts. One of the possible outcomes of climate change is drought, prolonged drought in this region. And does Sarawak have any plans for water security, particularly in ensuring that agriculture continues to have water as well? Thank you.
Yeah, hi. My name is Hauren from Baker Hughes, and I have a question. I cover climate technology, and I have a question regarding some of the hydrogen projects you were talking about. So, in light of some of the recent news with hydrogen, right, in Australia, like Central Queensland, and then the BP Kwinana project, all these have been suddenly thrown into jeopardy due to either regulatory uncertainties or costs overruns. So, any lessons that Sarawak may have learned from this, right? And how do you ensure that some of these hydrogen projects will, remain in plan? Thanks.
Can you have your name again, please? Just shout to me. Hauren. Okay, thank you. Yes, please.
And good morning, Premier. Thank you very much for your presentation and very encouraging. And I am very encouraged by the use and safe storage of hydrogen. Yeah, and your desire to be a regional powerhouse. Are there plans for proton hydrogen? Proton hydrogen? Yeah, I'm very encouraged also by your use of AI, IoT to plan the routes of your transportation. We look forward to collaboration to actually have this knowledge exchange that we can also incorporate this into our transport in Singapore. As Sarawak evolves, how are the 27 ethnic groups and Sarawakan natives cared for in this collective evolution? How are you engaging and involving all your peoples to educate and digitally transform to ensure that Malaysia leaves no one behind? And this movement is for the greater common good of everyone. Thank you very much.
Have your name, please. Sorry.
I'm Helena.
Helena.
Helena. Choo, CHOO.
Thank you very much, Helena. I think there's more than enough questions for now. I'm sorry that you have to wait a bit more. And do you need me to run through the questions?
Thank you very much for the 4 questions put forward. I try to give my views on the 4 questions and what we do. The first one is collaboration, and also the Climate Change Center, as well as international collaboration. When you talk about collaboration, it is not only confined among ourselves, but I think you have to establish network and exchange of knowledge between your partners as well as yourself. In this case, definitely we are collaborating with Singapore. Just now I was telling your minister that we can establish the 3S network, that is Sarawak, Singapore, and Semenanjung. Even I forgot another S, that is Sabah. So the 4S can be a co-collaboration amongst us. And I think energy is the first area where we can collaborate. That's where Sarawak has agreed to supply Singapore with 1 gigawatt of power. And it is renewable power. It's not solar power. It is green power direct to Singapore. And the only issue that we have tackled now is the undersea cable. You know, a lot of, there are only 3 producers of cable in the world. So we have to book the cable earlier in order for you to lay down the undersea cable. For Singapore, Sarawak, it's about 800 kilometers. And there must be consensus between Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia for us to lay the cable to Singapore. And I hope this issue will be settled soon. And Singapore and Sarawak, so we have common energy, at least from Sarawak to Singapore. The Climate Change Center, we are establishing this center to monitor climate change. And now, you know, there's another player there who want to sort of withdraw from Paris Agreement. So there is a sort of debate whether the world is still using fossil fuel or the world is going to withdraw from fossil fuel and give priority to green energy. I do not know. I was in Abu Dhabi when the new president or the second term of the president won. I was asked the next day in a panel discussion about what's the US policy is going to be. So I said it's premature for me to comment because he just won day before. Give him another 6 months. I was on the assumption that I thought Elon Musk will influence him in terms of this, climate change. As you know, Elon Musk is very much, he's very passionate on EV in a car, but now I understand that he's migrating to hydrogen. And therefore, this Climate Change Center will monitor the development globally, and that become your platform to formulate your strategies in terms of how to, face this climate issue. There was, as you know, in Baku, it was different from Dubai. Baku, there's a lot of issues in not talking about finance, green finance. We have to have the banks to come together on board because climate change is quite risky. The risk is greater. I think the financial institution have to have a certain protocol how to finance this green energy. And it is part of our Climate Change Center monitoring system. That means the value chain in green energy has to be monitored. And then the international collaboration, of course, it is just an extension of your first collaboration. The second question, drought. Before I come to Singapore, we got a lot of water. The monsoons seem to be changing. There's one place in Sarawak called Bintulu. We got 900 millimeters of rain one day. Normally it's 100 millimeters for 1 year. But that day was 900 millimeters and the whole Bintulu was submerged. What I'm saying here is this is a signal that climate is an issue. You cannot predict the dynamics of temperature changes. As I mentioned earlier, in January is already almost 1.5 Celsius. Then the world getting hotter and hotter and hotter. Once you reach certain level of temperature, I think human cannot survive. And that will be, there's a book called Last Invention. And it says there, the end of human era. I think it's maybe because of climate, it become the end of human era. In other words, to counter that, you have to have technology, and the effort on decarbonization is important in order to reduce the temperature threshold. Some believe it, some don't believe it. That's why I said to Mr. Choi initially, there are a lot of uncertainties now. There seem to be a lot of view change. But then the people with rational mind, they must analyze this, and it is happening. That's why Sarawak, we give emphasis on green decarbonization program. Now, maybe there are areas of drought, but we have 5 dams now, and we are very fortunate. We have rainfall as well as we have a lot of rivers. We have plenty of rivers and also plenty of crocodile. but having said that, we have to also conserve our rivers. And as it is historically, so far we don't have drought. Hope we will continue, but our rivers are there. The longest river in Malaysia is in Sarawak. Second longest also in Sarawak. All the rivers there. So in other words, you have a reservoir of water. The only thing is technology to clean up the water. You have to get rid of all the impurities in our water. That one, I think technology can come in with AI and also with new technologies, how to clean the water. I think maybe a problem, but so far, hopefully Sarawak can cope with that issue. Then question 3 and 4 are related on hydrogen. A lot of people are skeptical on hydrogen. Before I became famous of OCM, it's about more than 10 years ago, I was talking about hydrogen. And I went to Germany. I had engagement with Linde, and I told the scientists in Linde that one day the cars will be driven by water, power driven by water. The scientists there did not respond to my question. But the next day, when I was about to leave, they gave me gift, a model of car driven by hydrogen. Then I said, why didn't you tell me yesterday? Because hydrogen is from water. Because you split H2O into hydrogen, and hydrogen become the fossil fuel to move your vehicle. The only problem we are facing now is nobody seems to think that the cost of producing hydrogen will reduce, because electrolyzer is very expensive. You need a very powerful power, large power consumption to split your hydrogen and oxygen. But to me, when we were in school, we were using computer, the server is as big as a room. But over time, is just in your hand, your computer, in your phone. So I believe that the technology will reduce the cost of producing hydrogen with a new method in splitting hydrogen and oxygen electrolyzer. I was in Japan last December, and I found that UNOS is doing it. And UNOS is going to reduce the cost of electrolyzer to produce hydrogen. That is from your H2O. The other one that Sarawak has is our methane. 62% of gas reserve in Malaysia is in Sarawak. And you can split CH4. And then you extract hydrogen from your methane. And that will be another source of hydrogen. And of course it's blue because it's from methane. And then with that, over time, I think the cost of hydrogen, producing hydrogen, is just like computer. I believe in that because of technological advancement. And the third is, people are now producing synthetic gas. That means if you have hydrogen, you combine with carbon, you produce synthetic gas. And in power plant now, Mitsubishi, I don't know whether Mitsubishi is around here. Mitsubishi has a new technology of combined cycle power that use hydrogen as well as gas in the production of electricity. And I believe now is 30-70, they may raise hydrogen to 50 to 50, meaning for Sarawak, we got the feedstock, you got the technology, and then we share. That is the Sarawak roadmap on hydrogen. And I strongly believe the cost will be down. The cost of production of hydrogen will be down because of advancement in the technology. And Japan is doing it now through UNOS Research Center. And the other one is, beside hydrogen, is our SAF for the aviation. We have done our experiment using algae, microalgae. And I flew from Kuching to Langkawi on Airbus aircraft using 10% our own algae, our own biofuel. I just want to try. Of course, my wife didn't ask me to go because they don't know whether they feel okay or not. But whatever it is, I went. It was successful, and we are going to sort of expand production of algae. I hope I have answered the two because they are related, hydrogen on the two. Thank you very much.
It's 11:22. Are you okay to have maybe till 11:30? Okay. The Premier has kindly consented to extend the Q&A session a little bit. But to be fair, I have to get some of the questions from the Zoom audience before, and we see whether we have still time left for the remainder for people here. Excellency, there's a question. Actually, there are several questions, but I'm just going to pick one regarding a carbon trading center that you did mention in your lecture. The questioner is Madeline Chen, and she's asking, what challenges do you foresee for Sarawak in negotiating more growth as a carbon trading center? She actually had other questions, but we stick with that one. And there's also a very specific question from Mr. Kai Ang, who would like to ask another angle regarding energy, which is about your other neighbor, which is Brunei. How is that plan to sell hydroelectric power to Brunei? Is there further plans, perhaps also with Brunei, into the LNG sector that could be explored in future. Sorry, I'm going to have to ask one more question. And this one also another slightly different angle, perhaps looking a bit more into the future. But this person from Amirul Rahman Samri from UOB, United Overseas Bank, he's asking how will the Sarawakian petroleum company Petros, how will its role differ from that of Petronas, your national petroleum company in Malaysia? How will that operation in Sarawak differ in the future? And what does the long-term vision for the state government for Petros, what does that look like? Yeah, so three very different questions: carbon trading, and then Brunei, and then Petros.
Thank you for those three questions. The first one is carbon trading. As you know, we have 60% forest cover. And carbon storage depends very much on the quality of your trees and also the quality of your soil. As you know, mangrove storage of carbon is more than ordinary trees. So what you do is you have to audit the resource that you have in order to absorb carbon. And that has to be done based on certain international protocol. But at the moment, there is no established international protocol yet. So what we do is we are guided by the World Bank, how they audit carbon content, at the same time carbon absorption capacity in our forests. Though Sarawak has introduced our own state laws because land is ours under our land code, and we are not subject to federal land code. We have our own land code, and that become a basis for us to establish our legal parameter in terms of carbon trading. And it is very important for us to acknowledge how to verify the carbon storage, and that will lead to your price, how you charge them. And that is why the Sarawak government is guided by World Bank, because I think World Bank is also a party to frame the way how you charge. So to answer the question, actually it is the process of carbon trading is very, we call it infant stage. We are also working with Singapore. You know, there are certain interests in Singapore to store carbon. So the question now is how you calculate it, how are you going to charge it? So I think another 1 or 2 years, maybe we can establish the parameter and the protocol in terms of managing carbon. The second question is about Brunei. We are negotiating with Brunei. Brunei need that power because there must be a power mix in Brunei. Brunei is using gas turbine, but Brunei also is signatory to international convention where you must have other sources of power. And ours is hydro. So what we do is we will supply power, just like Singapore, to Brunei and also to our neighbor Sabah. Sabah next year, middle of this year, we start supplying 100 megawatt to Sabah on renewable energy. And for Brunei, we are negotiating with the government of Brunei to have a joint dam, hydro in Limbang, just next to Brunei. In other words, Brunei can say that they are having mixed supply of power. So they can fulfill their sort of requirement to International Convention on Power Mix. And number 3 is Petros. It's a lot of question on Petros and Petronas. What happened is this: you must see the background of Sarawak's sort of position in the Federation of Malaysia. When we formed Malaysia in 1963, there's a clause in our constitution, I think Article 47, where all the sort of asset on the day we established Malaysia under the Queen will be vested to Sarawak. This includes our asset in continental shelf because it is an extension of land in our continental shelf. And number 2, under Agong's Order 1963, that our gas industry or oil industry, because we produce oil 1910, and during that day, the gas is under the state. Gas distribution is under state. What we do now is, though there is a provision under 1974 on PDA, PDA is to manage all the petroleum resources nationwide. That one we accept. But the production within Sarawak territory, Sarawak must have a stake. That's why we form Petros. I form a company, Petros. And this Petros will work together with Petronas, together. And then we have a say in the distribution of gas. Lately, the Prime Minister of Malaysia and myself, we have agreed under our gas distribution law that Petros is going to be the aggregator of gas. So to answer the question, Petros and Petronas, they have similar function, but based on our consensus, so that Sarawak can also play its part in the petroleum industry. I hope I have answered the question.
Thank you very much, Premier. I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen, that there really is no time left to bring another round of questions. I know there are a number of media people in the room who would very much love to ask questions, but I apologize that we've run out of time. And if you like to ask the question later on when he's on his way out, I hope you have a chance to. But that's my apologies. So will you please join me in giving a round of applause to our Premier? Yes, thank you very much.